But we'll look into that, and that's just one of those things that we're reviewing. But we will, we're having a little trouble, probably not a website and things like that, communicating with you guys. So what we'll probably do, as we need spending authority, we will come in and schedule an actual meeting and have these discussions, so.
I think that'll help the community understand too, what opportunities you guys have and how we work together and how we're separate and how we're united, and
Yep.
I think this is a really good move you guys are making. I'm excited about it, so thank you.
It's nice to have some money for a change.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep her informed.
Did you get a copy of that in? Give you mine.
Okay.
So what, no, this is Franklin's, how do we handle this claim, and where does this come out of?
We have agreement already to enter into this, so it's just a matter of getting the formality of the grant done. and the
This is
grant
a
was-
different grant than the trust board?
No, it's with the trust board.
It's
So,
just the trust board?
yeah, so when they charge the recreation board with taking care of those contracts and then following through with this public process that we have to follow through per the National Park Service, early on we said, this is bigger than we know how to do. And so, I've actually spoken to two of their meetings about contracting with, specifically Jerry. It was Great West, but it was Jerry that came up. He's, again, worked with us several times, and,
Trust board just said they knew nothing
If-
about this.
no, they didn't. No, they didn't.
No, they
That
didn't.
absolutely was not said. Now, please don't interrupt. So, what this is, Jerry is not an engineer. He is actually a park facilitator, a facility facilitator. So what his plan is to kind of guide that public process, share best practices, and then give us a draft of those rewritten concessionaire contracts. They'll go through the process of being reviewed by the rec board, by the commission, and then by legal. Right now, it's with the rec board. And Jerry's been to a number of meetings, just kind of helping to guide that process. So Steve called and he said, you know, with all the drama going on in commission meetings, why don't you put together a grant, and that way we can actually just have this as transparent and clean as possible. But yeah, they've been fully informed
So
of
this
this.
will, we'll pay this as it'll be reimbursed by the trust board grant?
We could do that, yeah.
Okay, that's our agenda. Is there anything else to be brought forward from the commission today?
I have two things, if I may, Mr. Chairman. One thing is, there was discussion during the last legislature, when the legislature went to these 2-year cycles for property taxes versus the 6 that it had been. The director of Department of Revenue, Director Cadis, had told the legislature, I'm going to need more staff for that. There's gonna be a lot of errors with Department of Revenue if I don't get more staff. The legislature said, well, you're not getting more staff, we're gonna make this change anyway. And there have been a lot of errors, I expect more in the future. So Joe Ramler is the one with Department of Correction or Department of Commerce that noticed the 30 houses and what happened with those being lost from Broadwater County. And what he said is counties are going to have to be proactive in tracking their own new construction to alleviate some of those errors. So I just wanted to bring that up with our discussion from last week and share that. Any questions on that? Okay, so the other thing is then, the commissioners meeting policy, we have one, it was up on the board, and I did take a copy, it's still up there, but it hasn't been updated since 2011. There's not a lot of real substantive changes, but I think there's some things that we should change and add. One of them is that there's no longer a Townsend Star. So I would like to put this on the agenda for next week to update it. It is one of our requirements, as we learned with Jim Nyes last week. Okay. And I'll send a draft via email, so you have that to look at before, and you guys can add whatever you think. I am gonna add some things from our civility policy and our open meeting policy. And that's all I have.
I'd still add to that the contract should be voided. It was an illegal contract made up, Great Western. And it was brought out, we were misled by it. I second it, you signed the contract, assuming the trust board had approved all this, and they had not. Want that on the record?
And if that goes in the minutes, it is untrue and absolutely unsubstantiated. And I want that with it, if it goes in the
You
minutes.
can put that in there, I got the proof for it. And I wanna talk to the county attorney and see
Good.
what's taking place on this here right now.
Mhm.
Also, we had an email from Bill Berthman about a FAA grant to pay 100% of the cost of paving on the airport runway. So put that on the agenda for next week, so you need to get that out of your email, take a look at it, see if there's any provisions with it. That would take care of it. There, we have a fund established for that right now. It's supposed to take place in 2022, but this would move it up 2 years, and the FAA would pay for it 100% if we get the grant. However, it will be a competitive grant, so we'll put that on the agenda for next week. We'll have to review
That's for the
that.
airport project.
That's the airport paving of the runway.
Yeah.
It's from the FAA.
And that'll probably, I would imagine, the airport board will ask Bill or contract with Bill to write that. He's been doing a lot of that work with the airport board, and he's been quite successful for us.
Okay, if there's any other business, Ed?
Yeah, I just got a couple questions for you. First, for fire wardens, I believe our call tomorrow will be looking at stage 1 restrictions, which is probably a good thing, the way it's been getting drier and drier out. We do have a fire going up at Lincoln right now again, so it's getting closer to home, so I'll find out more tomorrow on that, but I have a feeling they're gonna want first stage restrictions. And also, I'm wondering on the subdivisions, when a subdivision gets changed from a minor to a major, I've had a couple of them come across my desk that they're coming through as minor subdivisions, but they're on subdivisions that were already approved as minors, and now they're splitting the lots. So is that still a minor? My opinion, I would say no, because we already approved the 5 lots, and now they're coming in and splitting each one of those lots into 5 lots again. That's not a minor in my opinion, so I just need to find out what you guys think about that, I guess. See where we're going with this, because each one of these is adding more people, more houses to our fire district that we are not getting any more funds for or anything else as far as fire protection. So, and also if I could be put on the agenda from here through the last of the summer for these fire reports. Appreciate that, so.
As far as the subdivision question, I would put that to Nicole, and we certainly can as well.
Okay.
It's gotta be in our regulations what the law says on that, and those are based on Title 76
Okay.
and vetted by Tara Depew, so I don't know
Yeah,
off the top of my head. I agree with you, but I'm wondering what the law says on that, I
Yeah.
don't know.
so I was planning on talking to Nicole too about it, so.
Yeah,
So
we'll have
I
the
didn't catch
answers.
her.
Yeah,
So, that's all I got.
thanks, Ed.
Thank you. Yes. Brandon?
Just one thing, John Hedstrom reminded me to talk about it, is the old search and rescue riverboat, the Zodiac. It's an old rubberized boat. The motor is off of it, it's I don't know if you call it an outboard motor, but it's probably 30 years old, and he's tried to patch it. The rubber's all rotted, and they just need approval whether they can discard of that, since it is county property. So I don't know if I should be on the agenda or if it's appropriate to bring it up in this situation, if I could just get some guidance, or if you can say throw it out. He's called the company said that it's not even supposed to last that long, so don't fix it, so.
It's just an old rubber raft that's been there forever, and John took it home to see if he could air it out, and then he put the air to it. It's supposed to be compartmentalized, so if something does leak, you can still get someplace. It's no longer got compartments, it's all one big balloon, and it leaks like a sieve, so.
So we need to figure out a way to dispose of it, basically.
It's, I mean, it's maybe the width of these pillars here, it's, I mean, you can throw it away. I don't know if we just talk to Mary or what the appropriate way to go about that would be, but.
It's not worth $2,500, is it?
No.
Then, yeah, I would say, the only thing is there is MCA that anything over $2,500 has to be put to
Okay,
public auction underneath that, and our procurement policy also speaks to that.
okay,
So, yeah, I would
Well,
think.
for safety reasons on it, for one thing.
I'll just have, then just move forward and have, search and rescue reach out to Mary and see the appropriate way to get rid of it. We'll do
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sounds
That's
good,
what I'd
yeah.
say.
The other thing was, I was talking to Delge in the hallway, the fire board did pay that portion of the radio service, the equipment,
Oh, okay,
And,
25,000,
24.
24, okay.
Yep, that's it.
Any other business on this agenda? See, we will adjourn until 1 o'clock to a working session for budget review, PILT discussion, and at 3 o'clock, there's a working meeting for the budget. So we will adjourn until 1 at 11:15.
So that's been changed from the 2 o'clock union meeting?
2 o'clock union meeting is still,
That's
We're
been canceled?
recessing.
yeah, it was in the email. And then under the revised agenda is up there on the seat. Working session, budget and working session.
What time is